Welcome back, YouTube. Today, football meets football. If you've been living under a rock, the world's biggest sporting event is kicking off in near hours. Hell, it might have already started for you, and that's being the FIFA World Cup, which is being hosted in Qatar. So to match the current event with sports, I decided to bring back this series on my channel where I combine multiple sports league formats with the NFL teams and to see how it plays out. I'm going to break down this whole format for you all, so if you don't know much about soccer, great news for you, this is the great time to learn. And yes, it might sound elementary to some of you guys, but once again, most of us are Americans. Attracting us to a sport not called football is something pretty hard to do. So to start, on the screen right now, you can see that there is 8 different groups labeled Group A to the Group H, but you also notice that there's no teams on them. We'll get to that in just a minute. We'll start with how this works. The FIFA World Cup starts with 32 teams. National teams qualifying for it, and you might say that already sounds kind of familiar. What else has 32 teams? The NFL. On top of that, what has 8 different groups of 4 teams? Also the NFL. Now here it gets a little bit different because what we're going to do now is we're actually going to draw teams to put in groups. But the FIFA World Cup committee has a way around it so the groups don't become really overpowered, because if that was the case, then sometimes you get like superpowers like Brazil, France, Argentina, England. You can't have all 4 of those teams in the same group because some of those teams would not be able to qualify past the round robin. So what the World Cup committee does is that they take 8 teams and they seed them accordingly based on how good they are, and they can split them up for each group. Now what they actually do is they take 7 of those teams, and the one other team is the host city for the World Cup. So for an example, this year Qatar was the host city. They automatically got into Group A because they're the host city, and then Group B through Group H was the 7 ranked seeds based on the FIFA World Cup committee. To start, we don't really have a host team, but there's a way around it because there is a Super Bowl every year, and usually the Super Bowl is held in a stadium which an NFL team plays in. This year's Super Bowl is being hosted in Arizona. What team plays in Arizona? The Cardinals. So in this case, our Cardinals are going to be the host team for this NFL World Cup video. Alright, so now that that's done, the 7 other teams are actually the highest ranking division leaders right now, 7 of the 8. I'm pretty sure the one team left off is the Bucks. What I have them here is I have them in a randomized spinner wheel, and what we're going to do is we're just going to spin it 7 times. So this one is going to be for Group B. This team will be the team which will be in Group B, the first seed, basically what you can say, and that is going to be the Titans. So what we'll do is remove the Titans and we'll go on to Group C. What team will be in Group C now? That will be the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and move on to Group D, which is the Baltimore Ravens, as you can see, and keep on going on to Group E, our next spin. It's going to be our Seattle Seahawks, which are the number 7 seed right now in the league based on division leaders. And our next group, I already forgot the letter, but you'll see it on the side of the screen anyways. Only 3 teams left anyways. It's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. And if I can remember the alphabet correctly, A, B, C, D, E, F, this should be Group G, and then the last one will be Group H. So, Group G is going to be the Minnesota Vikings, and Group H will be the Dolphins. Alright, so currently right now we have the host city Cardinals and the 7 highest seeding division leaders all separated in their own groups. What we're going to do now is we're going to go to a program called the Random Magic Hat, and it's going to generate 8 groups of 3 for us so we can fill in each of the rest of the groups. So as you can see here, we have the 24 teams in this video which are not in groups yet on the list, and what this program is going to do is it's going to create the groups for us. And now we'll start with Group A. Group A is going to be the Cardinals, Patriots, Niners, and Jets. Now for Group B, it's going to be the Titans and the Bengals, Saints, and Broncos. Alright, there's Group B. For Group C, it's going to be the Eagles, plus the Lions, Jaguars, and Panthers. Okay, that is... oh gosh, that's horrible. Group D is going to be the Ravens, plus these 3 teams right here. Cowboys, Buccaneers, and Bears. Brutal. Group E, already featuring the Seattle Seahawks, is going to add with the Commanders, Texans, and Packers. For Group F, with the Kansas City Chiefs, also the Colts, Falcons, and Bills. And for Group G, which is the Vikings already, they are going to have the Steelers, Giants, and Rams. And finally, for Group H, already with the Dolphins, going to finish it off with these 3 teams being the Raiders, Chargers, and Browns. Alright, so I'll let you guys get a visual look at the 8 groups and also give you a little bit of World Cup history. So, every single World Cup, there is usually one group out of the 8 that is just completely overpowered. Every team in it, or at least 3 or 2 of the teams, are just really good, and it's just a very unfair how they somehow got grouped together. That term is called the Group of Death. Now, if we're looking at these 8 divisions right now, or 8 groups, I'm trying to determine which one's the Group of Death. I'm between Group D and Group F, but I'm going to go Group D here. It has the Ravens, the Bucks, and the Cowboys, and the Bears, who are actually starting to look like a pretty decent team now. So, Group D for Group Death, D for Death. And also, Group C, right next to them, the C stands for Cupcakes, because that division is horrible. The Eagles are the only good thing there, but the Lions, Jaguars, and Panthers, that's pretty bad. Group E is also pretty bad, too. Can't mention them. That's the Commanders, Packers, and Texans are pretty bad. The playoffs really don't start until we have 2 teams left from each group. So each group will do something called a round robin. You might have heard of this term before, but it's never been in any of my videos, so I made this graphic real quick just to break it down. Team 1 will play 2, 3, and 4. Team 2 will play 3 and 4, and Team 3 will play 4. That results in 6 possible matches between these 4 teams in each group. And if you do the math out, that leads 6 matchups per each group, which then 6 times 8 is 48 total round robin matchups. Now that is a lot of matchups, especially to simulate, so I'm going to be doing that all off camera, but I will update you guys with the standings once it's all said and done. It's also important to mention that the point system is also here. If you don't know what the point system is for soccer in general, usually it's 3 points per win and 1 point per draw. If a game goes to overtime, I will count that as a draw and each team will be rewarded 1 point. If it comes down to a tiebreaker, the tiebreaker will be point differential. And like I said, the top 2 teams qualify from each group. Then we'd be left with 16 teams, which then I can show you this bracket right here. So this is what the playoff bracket is going to look like. Notice that there's no teams filled in yet because we haven't done the round robin, but we can get a look at the seeds and how it's going to work. It's actually pretty easy. It's just a simple pattern. It goes 1A will play 2B, and then 1B will play 2A. 1C will play 2D, 1D will play 2C, and it repeats that until we get obviously to H and G. So, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and start doing our simulations, and I'll update with the standings with some graphics, and we'll determine with those standings who our top 16 teams are and what 16 teams will be eliminated. Alright, so before we reveal Group A standings, I want to mention 2 things. Number 1, every single game I simulated was held at a neutral site. That's so each team wouldn't have home field advantage and they wouldn't gain momentum in Madden. And number 2, to prove that I did not fake this, here are some screenshots, more like a collage of a lot of screenshots I took, and also here's my notebook, which I wrote down everything before I put it into the computer. That's just to prove that I actually simulated this in Madden, and I did not BS any of these numbers, because why would I do that? That would be boring. Anyways, let's start with Group A standings, and already you can see the Jets and the Patriots, the AFC East teams, which have been pretty good this year, are going to qualify from Group A. The Niners and the Cardinals in the West, they are going to fall out of it. So, you can see, it actually goes win, draw, loss is how it works. Remember, one win is 3 points and a loss is a single point. So, Jets get 5, Patriots get 4. That's a look at Group A. Group B is where we start to see some things unfold. The Titans, which were the first team selected in that randomized wheel I did earlier on, are eliminated. They only won 1 game, they lost 2, they put up 3 points. They had a good point differential, matter of fact, the better point differential in this whole group, but they just did not get enough points and they did not get another win to qualify. The Bengals and the Broncos qualify, and the Saints, my god, negative 50 point differential, not looking too good for them. And to Group C, which I codenamed the Cupcake Division. Weirdly enough, this is what we're looking at. The Lions won all 3 games, so they beat the Eagles, and then they controlled their destiny versus the Jaguars and Panthers, which are pretty solid wins for their level. And they actually the only team so far to have a 3-0 in the round robin, putting up 9 points, 78 points scored, 65 allowed, and 13 point differential. The Eagles, obviously that one loss to the Lions, but they beat the Jaguars and Panthers. The Panthers are also the first winless team you can see here, negative 31 point differential. That is Group C. And yeah, I think it's safe to say this might be the Group of Death, because you can even see the Buccaneers, who won 2 games, just fell short by a total of 8 points in point differential. Kind of sad, but yeah, it's a tough division. Both Ravens and Cowboys qualified. They went 2-0-1. And then the Bears, man, the poor Bears, they did not stand a chance to begin with. 0-3 and a negative 60-point differential. Group E. I'm not making this up. I wish my Packers could play this good in real life, because they also went undefeated just like the Lions. But get this, 112 points scored. That's the most points scored out of any team. 47 points allowed, least amount of points allowed by any team, and 65-point differential, the best of any team. So they sweep the board, and currently they are the #1 sitting team statistically in this round robin. Kind of crazy. The Packers definitely are not playing like that in real life, but it is Madden. You know how Madden works. They're gonna favoritism towards some of these good teams in the past. That's just how it runs. And then the Seahawks, who have been good recently, they also qualify. They go 2-1, put up 6 points. And then you can see the Commanders and Texans did not stand a chance. Those teams also suck. Now go on to Group F. And behold your very eyes, yes, the Kansas City Chiefs got eliminated. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons, and they had a tough, brutal blowout loss to the Bills, which led them to a negative 27-point differential and a 1-2 record. Yes, the Falcons went undefeated as well. Can't forget to mention that. Third team to go undefeated, putting up 9 points. And then the Bills, who had a better point differential, but they lost that game to the Falcons. And the Colts just did not stand a chance to begin with. And finally, Group G, the Minnesota Vikings, who have been pretty good this year. They're going to be the #1 seed out of that, 2-0-1 with 6 points. The Giants follow with a 1-1-1 across the board. And the Steelers were just short. They were 14 points off of tying the Giants. And then the Rams, who have not been too good this year, finished 1-0-2 with negative 39-point differential. They only put up 32 points. That is the lowest out of any team in this entire round robin. Hey, this is me from the future. Apparently, I forgot to go over Group H. So this is the final group, and you can see that the Browns and Raiders qualified. Browns had 2 wins, 99 points forward. The Dolphins, they fell short, but hey, at least they finished with a 0-point differential. Good for them. Chargers also out of it early as well. Raiders with a negative point differential even made it still. Alright, with that being said, now we can take a look at our bracket. Alright, so now that we have the complete round robin over, we can now build our playoff bracket with our 16 remaining teams. We have 2 from each group qualifying, 2 eliminated from each group, left to our 16. And I'm just going to go through this, and we're going to have a live bracket build. Starting with our 1A, the New York Jets, our 1B, the Cincinnati Bengals, our 1C, Detroit Lions, 1D, Baltimore Ravens, 1E, Green Bay Packers, 1F, Atlanta Falcons, 1G, Minnesota Vikings, 1H, Cleveland Browns. Those are the top teams out of each group. And now the 2 seeds, the 2A, Patriots, 2B, Broncos, 2C, Eagles, 2D, Cowboys, 2E, Seahawks, 2F, Bills, 2G, Giants, and 2H, Raiders. Now you can see on the screen the 16 remaining teams and left with 8 total matchups. I'll go over them real quick. Jets, Broncos, Lions, Cowboys, Packers, Bills, Vikings, Raiders, Bengals, Patriots, Ravens, Eagles, Falcons, Seahawks, and Browns, Giants. And now we just play it out like a normal video of ours. We're going to simulate this through and see who wins the World Cup with NFL teams. We're going to start with our first match in the top right. Our 1A versus 2B, our Jets versus our Broncos. Let's go. We begin our first matchup in Arizona. 2-minute warning, the New York Jets and the Denver Broncos. Jets with the football right now, so Zach Wilson on a 2nd down and 5, looking downfield for a pass. Will complete this one. It's going to be a 1st down and 10 at the 46-yard line, now in Broncos territory. Next play is also a pass, going to hit his receiver in stride. It's Moore. He'll reach for a 2nd down in inches, but at least they're now getting the Broncos to call their timeouts. So now they're going to continue to march down the clock as well as march down the timeouts for the Denver Broncos, and that will be the final play before the Jets will line up for a field goal kick to take the lead at 23-20. It's up, it's good, 23-20 it is with 8 seconds left on the clock, which means the Broncos will get the ball back. So Russell Wilson, his only one play you will see, can it lead to a touchdown, or will the Jets win this game? Off his back foot, it's going to get the distance. Around the 20-yard line, it's knocked down, and the Jets will hold on and win this football game 23-20. Our next game between the Cowboys and Lions, all the Cowboys have to do is get this 6 yards for the 1st down, and they beat this game, considering that the Lions could not stop the clock that much more. And Ezekiel Elliott going to fight for it. I think he got it. Lions will call a timeout, but it's a 1st down and 10 for the Cowboys. They got to manage the clock, which they do, and you'll see Dak Prescott taking the knee, indicating that the Dallas Cowboys will win this game with a score of 31-28 over the Detroit Lions. And now Buffalo and Green Bay. Buffalo is currently down a point in the 2-minute warning. Can they get this lead and get the Packers the ball back, see if they can do something? Devin Singletary, a huge run up to the right, puts the Bills in the 23-yard line, just short of the red zone. And time's now to 1:30. Josh Allen to the left, Stephon Diggs for a 7-yard pickup, and this will force the Packers to call the first of 3 timeouts that they've been holding all game. And Josh Allen hit Dawson Knox to the 1-yard line is where he stopped. Probably would have been better in the Packers' case if they just let him score the touchdown, but the Packers are forced to call another timeout because of that, and it's a 1st down and goal. This should be light work for the Buffalo Bills as Josh Allen takes the option himself to the left, and it's a rushing touchdown for Josh Allen to put the Bills up by 5, which means this 2-point conversion would make it a 7-point game if they get it. Josh Allen, quick pass to Stephon Diggs, is broken up by Rasul Douglas, so it will remain a 5-point game for the Packers to take over and need a touchdown to win it. Aaron Rodgers' first play, it's going to be a short slant, not ideal for this scenario, as Randall Cobb is taken down after a 5-yard pickup, and look at time, at 50 seconds. And now a pass behind the line of scrimmage, going to go nowhere. Matter of fact, lose yardage is the last thing you want in this situation. Under 40 seconds left, 3rd down and 7, now to 20. Rodgers finally looks upfield, hits Sammy Watkins, and now the Packers have to call a timeout after a horrible offensive drive. It's now a 4th down and 1. So this is it for the Packers most likely, and it looks like Rodgers is just going to look downfield. He's done this in Arizona before. Can he do it again? Up to a man pile. No one's there. It's a 1st down and 10. Take over on downs to the Buffalo Bills, and they'll win this game 33-28. Alright, now we had the Minnesota Vikings. They beat the Raiders by a score of 31-23. Not much else to say. We will move on to our next game here, which is between the Bengals and the Patriots. Patriots down by 3 right now. Mac Jones has to work the clock as well as the scoreboard at the 2-minute warning. He's going to hit his receiver, Jacoby Myers. He gets a move and some extra to the 1st down and 10 to 31-yard line. And now Mac Jones looking for another pass with 90 seconds on the board. He gets hit while he's thrown, and oh, a dropped pick. That should have been going the other way, but unfortunately, whoever that was, looked like Eli Apple, could not hold on to it, and the Patriots get bailed out, which leads to another 1st down and 10, and that was clearly a face mask penalty. So now even more yards tackled on to this play, which will put the Patriots all the way up to the 10-yard line is where they'll take over now after that face mask. So Mac Jones looking for a pass here. Going to go towards the end zone, a bullet, and caught for the touchdown is Nelson Agholor to put the Patriots up top over the Cincinnati Bengals at a score of 27-24, extra point at 28. Now Joe Burrow has 45 seconds left. He gets a 1st down and a flag as well. What is this going to be? Could this be offensive holding? It is. That is the last thing you want here. It's going to back him to a 2nd down and 16. Only positive it stops the clock for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals offense. So from their own 15-yard line, Joe Burrow down by 4 has to go all the way down the field. He's going to go a lot here to Jamar Chase. Completes it and breaks free to the 30, the 20, 10. Touchdown. No one gets him, and he hits his signature move to indicate the Bengals are on top. How did Jamar Chase land his feet as well as catch that one there? He got sandwiched between 2 Patriots defenders and finishes it with a gritty in the end zone to put the Bengals back on the lead at 31-28. Huge play. Now Mac Jones, 15 seconds. An incompletion here. It's going to be a 2nd down and 10, but stops the clock for the Patriots to find something better downfield. And going in the check down area is down to Ramondre Stevenson. He breaks out of the tackle, gets the 1st down and 10 and more. It's going to put the Patriots at the 45-yard line just outside of Bengals territory with 9 seconds. And going for another pass here, and that's going to get the 1st down, and they're going to get the timeout as well, so they're going to stop the clock with 3 seconds. That's enough time for a field goal, which they will do. This will send the game to overtime. Nick Folk drills it. We go into a blackout for whatever reason, and we're tied at 31 going into overtime. So who gets the ball first in our overtime period? It's Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Last time we saw him, we know what happened. Joe Burrow looking for a pass. 1st down and 10. Throws the opposite way. Gets T. Higgins near midfield up to the 47-yard line. Huge gain right there. 20 plus. And now Joe Burrow looking for another pass. Gonna go cross his shoulder here. Jumped in front of the route. It's picked off. This could be going all the way. Has to get past Joe Burrow. Burrow takes him down. Jamar Chase finishes it out of bounds. A huge mistake as Jones just jumps the route of Chase and takes the pick from Joe Burrow. And all the Patriots got to do is put some points on the board and they win this game over the Cincinnati Bengals. Huge defensive play by Jones. And stunning by Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. Did not have that one go their way, which will take Damian Harris to just fight for the touchdown, and the Patriots will win this football game 37-31 in overtime over the Cincinnati Bengals. Huge win, big game right there. And now we have the Eagles 25-24, but the Ravens will stop them. So it's a 4th down and 1 after that, which will force the Eagles to punt the ball away, getting the ball back to Lamar Jackson at the 15-yard line with no timeouts. Lamar Jackson looking for a pass. He's just going to throw this one out of play. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 10. Lamar Jackson once again going for a pass. Comes some pressure, and Fletcher Cox gets to him, and they can't stop the clock either. Big sack backs him to a 3rd down and 15. No way to stop the clock. Lamar Jackson lines up 20 seconds. This just has to be a house call if they want a chance. It's going there. It's a 1-on-1 coverage for Devin Duvernay. He gets the catch, but can't break free. And that is the final play of the Ravens' drive to win this game, considering they cannot get to the line in time. And the Eagles will win 25-24. Great defensive stand by the Philadelphia Eagles. How about this? The Falcons are up 3. It's a 3rd down and 10. Going to be a check down and a huge tackle behind the line of scrimmage for a 4th down and 11 now by Graham. It's going to force the Seahawks to call a timeout, and they're going to have to play with a 4th down and 11 as their only shot now. 96 seconds left. Geno Smith has to get a completion here. Knocked up. It's on the ground. Falcons will take over the football, and if they manage wisely, they should win this game, as they will do. As you can see, Marcus Mariota is going to take the knee. It's going to have the clock hit all zeros, and the Falcons will win 27-24. Our final game is under 30 seconds left. Matter of fact, it's ticking downwards as I speak. Jacoby Brissett going to look to his left. Gets a pass to his tight end. He can't get out of bounds. Huge play right there. That might be it. It's only a pickup of 1. They can't stop the clock. So now it's going to be a question of, can they get to the line in time? We're down to 10 seconds. Will the Browns be able to line up? The suspense is growing. It's at 4 seconds. Oh, they've lined up. Can they get the snap off? At 1 second. He's got it. Jacoby Brissett has to look for the end zone. Does a correction. Throws on a 1-on-1 coverage to Donovan Peoples-Jones. He has it. Touchdown. Browns. Huge play as time expires. Browns win at the zeros. 44-41. Browns victory on our final game. What a huge way to win it. One of the best simulations I've ever seen right there. 44-41. Alright, so in a very eventful preliminary round here in the World Cup of the NFL teams, the Browns, what a finish for them. And as far as our other matchups, we have the Jets and Cowboys, Bills versus Vikings, the rematch, Patriots, Eagles, and Falcons, Browns. Those are now our final 4 teams. We will start with the Jets and the Cowboys. Let's go. Alright, we pick up between the Jets and the Cowboys. A big win for the Cowboys, 44-25, and the Cowboys were the first team to punch their ticket into the final 4 of this World Cup format. And now we can pick up between the Vikings and the Bills, a rematch of that really good game a week or 2 ago, as the Bills are down by 3, and Stephon Diggs has something to say about that. A big completion up to the 26-yard line. Bills call a timeout. Josh Allen 1st down and 10 now. Looks like he's going to take off himself. He's struggling to get out of the pocket. Fumbled football on the ground. Picked up by the Vikings. And this one might come to a close here. 1 timeout only for the Bills to stop it. Can't do anything. Minnesota Vikings in victory formation. They win 38-35 after the Josh Allen fumble. And now a 2-point game between the Patriots and Eagles. We'll start with Mac Jones throwing it to nothing, which will lead to a 4th down and 2. They decide to run the football as Damian Harris is going to punch through, plus some more to the 44-yard line into Philadelphia territory. Now Mac Jones 1st down and 10, takes a couple hundred steps back, looking to the sideline, and a great catch right there by Smith. That'll be a 9-yard pickup and a toe tap catch. A 2nd down and 1 now. So now the Patriots elect to run the football, and a big mistake going against this defensive line as they will swarm Damian Harris, and it will be a 3rd down and 5 now. Big loss of 4 right there for the New England Patriots. Now Mac Jones fakes the handoff, looking for a pass, goes towards his right. It's complete and tackled inbounds as well, which will force the Eagles to call a timeout, and there's not much they can do. The Eagles or the Patriots are in the driver's seat now. They manage and they take off all the timeouts between the Eagles, which will leave them to kick a field goal to take the lead. They left 8 seconds on the clock, but it's going to be 37-36 Patriots favor after this Nick Folk kick. So the Eagles will get the football back with 3 seconds. This is it for Jalen Hurts. It has to make it out there for a touchdown. It's going up, and there's a flag on the play. No one comes down of it, but this could extend. Is this what I think it is? It is going to be a pass interference on the defense. This is huge. That's going to put the football all the way at the spot of the foul at the 20-yard line, which means all the Eagles have to do is kick a field goal, and they win this game. One of the most dreadful rules in the NFL right there is the ball getting placed at the spot of the foul. That is the last thing you wanted to happen there, as the Eagles really should not be walking away with a win, but they do. 39-37 Eagles victory after a horrible penalty committed by the Patriots, letting them placing the ball all the way to the 20-yard line. And they will kick a field goal with the zeros on the clock out of the extended penalty play. Eagles win 39-37. And our final game is the Browns. They beat the Falcons and they continue rolling to the Final Four with a final score of 30-20. We've approached the Final Four, which is going to be the Dallas Cowboys, the Minnesota Vikings, and the Philadelphia Eagles and Cleveland Browns. Two of these teams will punch their ticket to the NFL World Cup. We will figure which one that's going to be, starting with the Cowboys and Vikings, following up the next one with the Eagles and Browns. We'll start with the Cowboys-Vikings. Let's go. Alright, we open up between the Vikings and the Cowboys. Vikings up 5 points. We'll start with a Dak Prescott connection to Schultz. It's going to put a 1st down and 10 to the 40-yard line in Vikings territory. Gotta be careful though, they are under a minute. They'll line back up with 40 seconds. Dak Prescott's going to air this one down the right sideline, one-on-one coverage, and just barely overthrows Michael Gallup there. So it's going to be a 2nd down and 10, now 35 seconds. Dak Prescott have some pressure, throws in the same spot, and broken coverage up there by Patrick Peterson. They're going to force a 3rd down and 10 now. Once again, Dak Prescott scanning. He's off his back foot to the end zone. Again knocked up. Great defense so far played by the Vikings, which led to a 4th down and 10. This could be it. Could it be 4 straight incompletions for this defense as Dak will throw on his back foot again? It's out the back of the end zone, and the Vikings will take over on downs and a huge defensive stand, winning this game 19-14. And our next game, going to meet the Vikings in the World Cup final. It's the Eagles and Browns. We'll start the 1st down completion here for the Eagles, and they're down by 8. A touchdown and 2-point conversion is the difference at the 2-minute warning. 1st down and 10 from their own 22. On the run is Jalen Hurts. Hits his receivers is Devontae Smith. Now going to be the 36-yard line. Keeping the clock running and a new set of markers for the Eagles. They'll line back up with 1:30 on the clock. Jalen Hurts up the middle again. This one to go there. It's going to push forward to a pickup of 8. They'll line back up with around a minute on the clock. 1 minute and 8 seconds. Jalen going to take off and run himself. He's got the 1st down and a little bit more, and it's going to cross the midfield mark at the 49 into Browns territory. We are under 1 minute on the clock. 3 timeouts still in the name of the Eagles. They just used 1, and now they're at 30 seconds. And this will be a completion. We'll get out of bounds. Won't get the 1st down though. Stops the clock, the Eagles. 3rd down and 2. And here comes Jalen Hurts looking to pass on 3rd down and 2. Goes to his right. It's an incompletion. A huge stop could be for the Browns to win this game and take over on downs. 2 yards needed for the Eagles. And they're going to fake the run, or they will run it with Jalen Hurts to the right. And another timeout will be called with 18 seconds. 1 timeout left for the Eagles. Need to hit the end zone here. Jalen Hurts throwing on the run. Almost throws a pick there. Denzel Ward almost jumped in front of it. 2nd down and 10. 14 seconds on the clock. Jalen Hurts. Here comes some pressure. Has to throw it across his shoulder, and should have been a pick that time as well. 2 drop picks. Now 3rd down and 10 for Jalen Hurts. He's going to go through the end zone. There's 1 second left on the clock, and it's going to stay like that. 1 more play left for the Eagles. So 4th down and 10. This is it. Make or break. Has to hit the end zone here. for Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles to make their way to the World Cup final. Jalen Hurts backed up, hits the end zone. Is someone there? Touchdown Eagles! They take 6 on the board, and now the 2-point conversion would have to tie it. A.J. Brown comes down with it, and this is the tie to bring it to overtime. The Browns have had some miracle stops already. Can they get one more? They will! They stop Miles Sanders at the line. They stuff him, and the Browns will win another miracle, and they will beat Philadelphia 28-26 and make their way to the World Cup final to play the Minnesota Vikings. And finally, for the NFL World Cup, we have a matchup with the Minnesota Vikings versus the Cleveland Browns. Who takes it home in Arizona? We'll find out right now. And here's the World Cup final. The Vikings are currently trailing by a touchdown, but looking to change that as they'll get a 3rd down and 10 completion to Osborne to set up 4th down and inches. Not going to sneak it here. They're going to look for a pass, and it's probably going to pay off here with a completion to Justin Jefferson. He'll get more than they needed. A pickup of 11 yards at the 44-yard line now. 97 seconds for the Vikings to go down to score 7. And they're going to do another completion here. It's going to be a 7-yard pickup and out of bounds as Osborne. So 2nd down and 3 for the Vikings at the 49-yard line. Down by 7, 23-17. Kirk Cousins hits a slant. This is the 1st down, but it's going to roll the clock even more as it's inbounds. Now down to a minute. Kirk Cousins backs up, has some time. Looking to his right, he hits Justin Jefferson in stride for a pickup of 7 and stops the clock at 61-yard lines. 2nd down and 3. Cousins up the middle, has Thielen, a huge completion. It's going to be at the 21-yard line, and 50 seconds going down the clock right now. They'll get back up with 35. Kirk Cousins going to look to his right again and overthrows out of bounds. This stops the clock for a 2nd down and 10 with 31 seconds. Here's a dump-off pass, and it's going to go nowhere for Cousins. It's going to force him to call a timeout with 11 seconds and a long 3rd down. Cousins throw off of Denzel Ward's shoulder pad. It's going to set up a 4th down and 9 with 8 seconds. This could be it for the Vikings. The Browns, can they have another miracle stop? Not here. Thielen gets it again, and the Vikings will call a timeout. 1st down and goal at the 9. Final play of the game. Can the Browns hold one more time, or will the Vikings win the World Cup final? Dump off pass. It's closed up quickly, and the Cleveland Browns hold again and will win the World Cup final with NFL teams 23-16. Done, the Cleveland Browns have won the NFL World Cup out of all 32 teams who qualified. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. The World Cup should be starting tomorrow if I do get this video up on time. Hope you guys enjoy that. And also, I will be back around next week for another video. So, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you then.